Indian Weavers by Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu was born on 13 February 1879 and passed away on 2nd March 1949. Was a political activist, feminist, and the first Indian woman who became the President of the Indian National Congress. She was an important figure in India's struggle for independence. Sarojini Naidu worked as a poet, earned her the sobriquet of Nightingale of India. Later, she became the governor of the United Province in 1947, becoming the first woman to hold the office of the governor in independent India. Indian Weavers is a short poem where the poet talks about three types of garments that the weavers weave at three particular times of a day. Each stanza of the poem represents the three important events of human life: birth, that is childhood; adulthood, that is youth; and death, old age. The colors mentioned in the stanza are very significant as they indicate the moods related to the events. First, I will read the poem. Indian Weavers. Weavers weaving at break of day, why do you weave a garment so gay? Blue as the wings of a halcyon wild, we weave the robes of a newborn child. Weavers weaving at fall of night, why do you weave a garment so bright? Like the plume of a peacock, purple and green, we weave the marriage veil of a queen. Weavers weaving solemn and still, what do you weave in the moonlight chill? White as a feather and white as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. Now let's take the first stanza. Indian Weavers by Sarojini Naidu is a short poem consisting of three stanzas having 4 lines each. The poet talks about three types of dresses that the Indian weavers weave at three particular times of the day. Metaphorically, each time and the dress weaved in that time symbolizes a particular stage of life. The poem has the rhyme scheme AABB. The poet uses a number of literary devices to express her ideas like simile, imagery, metaphor, etc. The poem consists of a discussion between the poet and the weavers. The poet asks the weavers and the latter reply. Let's see the first stanza. Weavers weaving at break of day, why do you weave a garment so gay? Blue as the wings of a halcyon wild, we weave the robes of a newborn child. In the first stanza, the poet asks the weavers why they are weaving clothes early in the morning, which seems to be quite beautiful and charming, gay. The clothes are blue as the wings of a halcyon. Halcyon is the other name of the kingfisher. The wings of the kingfisher are bright blue in color. In addition, blue color also symbolizes the blue colors thus symbolizes something beautiful and precious. Hence, in this stage, the clothes weaved by the weaver are quite special, and this is why the poet is curious to know about them. The Indian weaver replies, we weave the robes of a newborn child. That is, they are weaving the beautiful dress of a young one who has just come to the world. In this stanza, a number of imagery are used to describe the first stage of life, like break of day, garments so gay, and blue as the wings of Halcyon, wild. This stage is full of happiness, freshness, hope, beauty, etc. There is no sorrow in this stage. Let's see the second para. Weavers weaving at the fall of night. Why do you weave a garment so bright? Like the plume of a peacock, purple and green, we weave the marriage veil of a queen. In the second stanza, the poet again meets the Indian weavers, this time during the fall of night. It probably refers to the evening or dusk time, when the sun sets and darkness paves the way. Moreover, it is also the time during which most of the Indian marriages take place. The poet questions the weavers why they weave a garment so bright, like the plume of a peacock, purple and green. The garment at this time is bright and full of colors, like feathers of a peacock, unlike the one color blue. During the many times, the weaver replies that they weave the marriage veil of a queen, thus referring to the second, or in other words, adult stage of life. During this stage, humans are quite active. They love each other, get married, and quest for a better and prosperous life. The color purple and green symbolizes sorrow and happiness, or struggle and ease in one's adult stage. And these all colors, or ups and downs of life, make the adulthood bright. The last paragraph. Weavers weaving solemn and still, what do you weave in the moonlight chill? White as a feather and white as a cloud, we weave a dead man's funeral shroud. In the final stanza, the poet finds the weavers solemn and still, that is, they are quite sorrowful, grieved and silent. They are weaving something weird in the moonlight chill, that is, in the dead of the night, which is white as a feather and white as the cloud, that is colorless, lifeless. As the poet fails to figure out what it is, that is the cloth, and why they are sorrowful and silent, she asks them, what are they weaving rather than why are they weaving? They reply that they are weaving shroud cloth put on the dead body for a dead person. Thus, the third and the final stage is death, which is emotionless and lifeless, like a white cloud or feather. In this way, the life which begins with life, joy, hope, etc., ends with sorrow and grief. Indian Weavers by Sarojini Naidu sums up the life of human beings on the earth in three main stages by using symbols like cloth and times of the day. The journey of life begins with one color blue, which means joy and happiness. It continues with the addition of a number of colors green and purple, which means sorrow also enters into life along with happiness. Life is more active in this stage than in the first stage. In the final stanza, all the colors vanishes and a single color white remains, which means emotions are connected with life, and when the person dies, emotions also die.